Hi everybody. So I actually got a mic now for my GoPro and decided I'm gonna go ahead and take this Suzuki out and just talk a little bit about it, how I came to getting it, and just go for a little ride. So here we go. I haven't even ridden it in a little while. Have a couple other bikes I ride too. Hello. Let her warm up for a second. We'll take it for a little spin. It's a super nice morning here in Central Florida. Finally cooled down a little bit. Let this guy with his dog, I think, about to come by. I've had a couple dogs chasing me lately, and that's these dogs look like they might do a little damage if they caught you. Here we go. Hello, little doggies. So anyways, probably about 2 years ago, I had been riding my Harley Sportster for probably 5 years, and then about 2 years ago I decided I want something that's gonna get the adrenaline flowing a little bit more, something that's gonna be faster and handle better, and just more sports oriented. I had done a ton of research on the V-Rod initially, and pretty much had my heart set on getting that bike. Anyways, while on the V-Rod forums, I saw a bunch of people talking about the Ducati Diavolo. Started doing some research on that bike and thought, well, what the hell, man, for about $1,000 more I could get a Ducati that's really one badass sports cruiser, I guess, if you want to call it that. So I'm lucky enough I actually have a Ducati dealership like 4 miles from my house, and they're super cool about letting people do test rides. I ended up going up there and doing a little test ride. Liked the bike a lot. I thought it was a beautiful machine. It was about, I think it was like, with the full exhaust system that I wanted, it was going to be about 18.5, something like that. But I was definitely considering it. So at that point I was on the Ducati forums every day reading about them and hearing what people had to say and such, and that's when I saw somebody posted about, hey, I think I'm going to sell my Diavolo and get this new bike that Suzuki's bringing out, the GSXS 1000, which is basically the naked Gixxer. And he said, it's like 10 grand or 10.5, and you're getting one hell of a bike, and I'm tired of paying all these crazy prices for Italian parts and service and such. So even though my heart was still set on the Ducati, I thought, well, let me look into this bike a little bit. It hadn't even been released yet. And so there we go. Started looking at this bike, and the thing was, with the Ducati, I was gonna put about 10 grand down and finance the rest. But if I was just a little patient and waited for the Suzuki to come out, I could just buy it cash and not have any payments, which that's always nice. So I'm not a very patient person, but it was only a couple months away before they were going to actually release this bike, so I went ahead and waited, looked at the forums and such, and I actually had a buddy working at a local dealership here that sold Suzukis, and the day they got one in, he texted me and sent me a picture, and sure enough, it was the gray naked, the one that I wanted. I didn't want the fared version, and I didn't really care for the blue or the red and black, so I went down there, I think the following weekend, and bought it. They had just come out. There was like no support for them as far as any aftermarket type parts or anything, but you know, I went ahead and picked it up. Was able to deal without having to finance anything, and shortly thereafter, some things started getting released for it. I initially started by just doing some cosmetic things. Got the little factory Suzuki fly screen on here. I switched out my levers to these Pazzo adjustable levers. I did a tail tidy. I actually did that myself, which for me that's a pretty big thing because I'm not the most mechanical person, but so went ahead and did that. Let's see. Dang, I know I did much more than that, but I can't think exactly. Anyways, so cosmetically I was really enjoying it, but I hadn't really, I was still running the stock exhaust, and you know, it's pretty quiet, obviously, like everybody's are when they come out of the factory. They have no choice. M4 released a full exhaust, so at that point I kind of had a relationship with this Ducati dealership, and I asked them, I said, hey, will you guys put this exhaust on for me, because it was a little beyond my capabilities? And they said sure, and they also recommended an Italian company that makes a fuel controller that just happened to, they use on their Ducatis all the time, and they released one for the Suzuki. It was the Rapid Bike. So they went ahead and put the exhaust on with the Rapid Bike fuel controller, and dang, this thing now sounded great. Sounded as good as it sounded like it should. Wasn't crazy loud, but had that nice growl to it. And then I learned that this Rapid Bike company also makes a quick shifter kit. So here I am going from riding a Harley Sportster that's really loud and slow to this GSXS 1000, which is a monster, and you know, ended up going ahead and saying let's just go all out, and got the quick shifter installed also. Which I'll tell you what, if you've never had one or have never used one, they're freaking awesome. Hey, here's the Ducati dealership, by the way. What's up, guys? So I forget to use it half the time, but when you're really getting on it and you know, you just want to kick her up there, and it's great. It's great. People say, well, it's a motorcycle, you know, that's all about the experience using the clutch and such, but and it is, but there are times where that quick shifter just makes your riding experience so much better. So at that point I thought, okay, I'm done. That's, you know, I'm set. I'm just gonna enjoy it. Oh yeah, I got these CRG Aero bar and mirrors too, because no matter what I did, and I tried a lot of different mirrors on here, they just didn't look right. And these things flow, I feel, with the bike. You know, they flow real well, and you can see out of them so much better. You're not just looking at your elbows, you know, you can actually see what's going on. So then anyways, I took it to a guy a couple hours away from here, who is rapid bike specialist, I guess you'd say. He tweaked the fuel controller system, and he happened to mention, have you ever thought about changing the gearing on this thing a little bit, you know? And I really hadn't. I mean, it's fast as hell for me, you know, especially coming from Harleys. But anyways, he said, well, you know, you could always just go down one tooth in the front, and you know, you'll notice a pretty decent difference on your low end, and you could get into that fun zone, like the 7,000-8,000 RPM zone, without having to be doing 120 miles an hour to get there. So sure enough, I went ahead online and I went from a 17-tooth front sprocket to a 16-tooth front sprocket. And I mean, it hasn't been an earth-shattering difference, but yeah, it's definitely a difference. I mean, especially in those low gears, man, if you sneeze and you're getting on it, you know it. I mean, that throttle is just so responsive down low. You know, if I was doing, let's say, a lot of highway riding and such, I might not have done that, but I'm not a highway rider, really. I actually hate riding on the interstate. I had an experience a couple months ago where I was on the turnpike, and a semi-trailer, their tire blew out, and I had to do a quick swerve maneuver, which had my heart pounding, in order not to hit that tire. So anyways, unless I absolutely have to, I usually avoid interstate riding. So with that being said, if you're, you know, pretty much like me, commuting on this bike or a city rider, going down to tooth on that front sprocket really gets this thing alive. I mean, it does make a pretty sweet difference. And you know, it feels like he added 10 or 12 horsepower and 5 foot-pounds of torque, which obviously you didn't do anything other than change the gearing. And you don't have to do any modifications as far as your chain or anything if you're just going down one tooth on that front sprocket. So that's that. I'm just gonna take a little cruise down this road right here. Me and the guys I work with, we actually laid this road out. We're surveyors, and I spent, I don't know, the last 8 or 9 months working out here. This is the new bypass road through the town I live in, and they just opened it up, so there's really no traffic on here. And I thought, hell, let me just take a little cruise down it and see how it turned out. Riding directly into that sun, or having a little bit of a hard time seeing these corners. But man, this is a damn great little road to fuck around on and just get her going a little bit. There I go. That would have been a perfect instance, you know, just get on it and upshift without using the clutch. Let's see. Let's try it right here. Ready? Here we go. There we go. That's a perfect example of where that quick shifter is this sweet to use. Anyways, this is my first time. I've made a couple other videos where I've just did some walk-arounds on the bike. This is the first time I've actually had a mic hooked up, so I'm sure it's gonna suck. I'm gonna try to understand how to use some of this GoPro editing software in the future, so these videos could be a little more entertaining, and also not try to say that so often. Hey, Walter Black, if you're watching this, man, thanks for initially doing the review on this bike that actually made me purchase it, and for your offer of helping me out with the future Motovlogs, if there are any. I have a couple other bikes, the Victory Octane, and like I was talking about, my Harley Sportster, that if this turns out well, I wouldn't mind doing a little review on that Octane. for a cruiser type bike is a friggin' beast. That thing hauls ass. Obviously it's not going to take the Suzuki, but any other cruisers on the road, you're done. That thing will kill you. I'm actually going to turn around here. I think the rest of this road isn't even completed yet, so I think I'm going to have to turn around up at this white if not. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and